Good morning, traders. So today is Sunday, and it's about 6 in the morning here in Texas. And I haven't done these videos in a while. I was doing the market debriefs, and I was doing some in the morning as well. But they really helped me when I was doing them because it just kind of forced me to do that work in the afternoon after the close. And so I'm looking forward to getting back to doing those. I've been really busy. I've been on vacation for 2 weeks. Um, and so I didn't trade while I was gone. I didn't keep my usual focus on the markets like I do. Um, so right now I'm coming back and I'm getting prepared for the next week. And I've kind of fallen out of my rhythm of doing these videos and the process that I had in place to keep those very pointed and focused and brief. So this video will probably run a little bit longer, but it is what it is. It's a weekend, right? Um, so whenever I left, we were in a balance, and we were looking to break out of that balance. And let's see, let me use this tool here. Okay, so actually I have this balance, and we're right back into this balance now. And last week was uh, a nice directional week, especially for those people that like to trade short. We had good targets. If I had traded last week, I probably would have kept trying to stick this because we never really had a good back test on this balance area until last week. And actually, I mean, it could have provided some opportunity here, but we eventually did end up back inside of that balance area. Um, so this is the window now, and it works out. It's lined up with some other stuff. If you look at expected moves and stuff like that, and I actually look at several variations of expected moves based on realized volatility, um, like an IV based forward volatility and straddle based. They all line up pretty well together, although, of course, the realized volatility is smaller. But we have some range this week. So, or from last week, we have some range. So if we look at, let's see, one thing is now I get to remember where all my charts are at because I had another installation of Sierra on my laptop, and it's a little bit different. So let's look at the monthly first. So right now this is currently July, or July to date, however you want to say that. And we had some good range on July, but we're back towards the low of July here, which is about 55.05, I believe. Um, so we're still, still maintaining the lows on July, but we're getting close to um, taking out that low and moving lower. We still have a long way to go before we take out the previous month's low. Now, if we look at the weekly, you can see on the weekly, this is how we move lower, how we basically move value lower. We took out the low of the previous week. So essentially stop the one time framing down on the weekly. We have not started or stopped the one time framing up. We have not started one time framing down on the weekly yet. And you can see that we have a pretty good area of support here on the weekly. And that's the bottom of this balance area that I had highlighted on that other chart that we're back in now. So this is going to give us an area that we can look at, but it's a strong move down. So these are our composite blocks. So this is part of that balance area here. We see we have a pretty strong profile. This area is another area that we'll be looking at on our charts. It's about the 5530 area, which was a pivotal area when we were here before. And so as we come back into that, it's going to be an area that I look to lean on for potential longs or to get some kind of idea of how much weakness is still in the market. But this area, this profile right here, stretches from June 17th to basically July. So a couple weeks where we traded inside this area. It's fair value. We had a lot of back and forth trade. There's likely to be a lot of people long in this area. Um, that could potentially still be long, that maybe we have support there. Maybe that's um, add some fuel to a downside move if we see strong selling below this area. So lower prices can bring in stronger selling. And we'll take a look at what that selling looked like last week. So we have Monday and Tuesday, we were continuing the one-time framing up, extending all-time highs. And then we had a pretty big change in the way of a gap. Market profile people will recognize that a gap is considered singles. Um, trade in the overnight session, but we consider those singles. And that was unfilled. So we had a pretty big change here where we one time frame down, put in a gap, could not fill that gap, and then we have some excess here at the highs. So this shaded area here is a gap. We have some excess, and then we continued that down with a trend day down. We have unfilled singles here as well. So this was a strong move down here. And then we have on Friday's session, Fridays are a little bit different, especially whenever we have options expiration and things of that nature. But when we take a look at Friday, zoom in on this a little bit, we opened up right here in this area. And market tried to move higher. We're inside of the Thursday's value area. Tried to move higher with one time frame down. Looked like it bounced a little bit. And we started to find some support in these two periods on Thursday's low. Pause the one time framing. Ended up one time framing down again. Pause the one time framing. One time frame down again. One time frame down. And then looked like we ran out of steam, ran out of sellers, balanced out a little bit essentially, and put a lot of volume down in this area. So we didn't have as weak of a day on Friday as we did on Thursday because it's Friday. I don't look to that to be a slowing down of the selling action because we did have good extension on the day. We did have some pretty good bounces. So the way I look at Friday is that I don't think the down auction is over yet. We have a poor slow, you could say. We have several periods where we tested this low, couldn't break it, but I don't think that this auction's over yet. So I'm looking for Friday, last week's low, to be taken out and see what kind of extension that we have to the downside. So you can see on this chart, this is a level that first level that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Depends on what happens when futures opens up this evening. We may end up, opening up on Monday up here, who knows, right? But at this point right now, this is the area that I have my eyes on. If we get outside of this area, if we get above here, we have Thursday's low, we have this pullback high right here. If we get above this area, then be watching for strength up, watching these levels. This is generally our 1 sigma area here around 55.80, 1 sigma up, and our 1 sigma down is here about 55.24. So look at our master levels chart. One thing I want to take a look at too, let's see. Okay, we had let's see, where's mine? We had a pretty good uptrend here. That once we finally broke through is actually about monthly VWAP. Now we have downtrend working here. I don't really trade trend lines or anything, but it's nice to look at. Look at Delta. We also have an uptrend on Delta. So I think, right now we have a lot of people going long into this, at least as far as market buyers go. I think that this could help a move down. This could help continuation down, and I think that we have some room down. So if we go back to our levels chart, my levels? There we go. All right, so this is messy, but I'm just going to kind of outline, um, what's important on this to me, and what's really important on this for me going into Monday is this. I want to trend line. What's really important for me on this is this upper area right here, 5,600, and then this area here, this bottom of balance area here. It's around 5,500. These are the levels that I'm going to look for a larger move to start from or continue from. So if we get up into this level, I'm going to look for the sellers to step back in. And if we get down to this level, down here, this is where I'm going to look for buyers to try to step in. If we can get below this level, then we have another gap that's unfilled down here. Look to target this gap. If this gap fills, this is another area that I'm going to look for buyers to step in. So we're looking for buyers around this 5,500 area, looking for buyers around 5,640. And these areas are places that, I think that we might be able to get back up into this unfilled gap. And either one of these get back up into this unfilled gap. Now the downtrend, or we are in a downtrend on the daily. We've moved into balance on the weekly. We're getting close to taking out or pausing the one-time framing on the monthly as well. So this is something that I think could continue to have legs. I don't think that, I'm not thinking right now that we're looking for another 100 or 200 points down at this point, but it's probable. And right now that the market is moved in that direction, where directionally moving down, then it's my job to continue looking for downside, even if I don't want to trade downside. That's the direction that I should be looking in. But we do have some areas where, if you want to be long, which is the way that I'd rather trade, we have some areas where we could get a longer move, and that's definitely something that I'm going to be looking out for in the daily plans. But for right now, this is our window, our trading window, and the edges of it. I outline those in the newsletter that'll be going out Monday. For those of you all watching it that don't know about the newsletter, it's still in beta right now. So we have a small beta group that's testing it. But I'll keep you all updated as far as when we're going to roll that out to more people. Obviously, the subscribers are, all the Steam Room subscribers are going to get that first, but then we're going to open it up to other people. That's about everything I have as far as charts go. I took a look at the COT data, which I haven't really been keeping a good eye on lately, and there's not a whole lot to see here. Looking at the S&P, it's pretty neutral. We're hanging out here around net negative 70,000. Still have some room to be at extreme positioning here. So not a whole lot of headwind or tailwinds for the S&P 500. NASDAQ similar, I believe. It's just very similar trade. The Dow, I believe they got a little bit longer, moving in that direction. Yes. So we have the specs are moving a little bit longer, which could add some downside to that as well. We'll take a look at the Russell, which was on fire. And they're short to, moving back towards neutral, more long towards neutral. It's not a whole lot there to lean on. And then the calendar for this coming week, we have, on Monday we have home sales after they open, 2-year note auction. And on Tuesday we have some PMI data, housing stuff with new home sales, building permits, the GDP now and the 5-year note auction with Bowman speaking. And then after the close though, actually we don't have anything on Monday. Sorry. So Tuesday is where we have home sales. Wednesday we have the PMI data and some housing stats. Thursday we have jobless, PC, prelim, durable goods. Um, and Friday we have some consumer sentiment, inflation expectations, stuff like that. So not a huge week for catalysts, but there definitely is some catalysts there. I think earnings might provide a little more fuel than anything else. We have, let's see, as far as major earnings go, no major earnings. Not a whole lot there as far as earnings go. So that's it. That's a brief on the week. I'll publish, my more detailed plan in the morning and kind of get back in the groove on this. I'll be looking to do the market debriefs after the close. Those are very short um, and concise of the action on the day. And then I'm going to look to publish a brief video in the morning that goes over some of the highlights of the newsletter from there. So hope everyone has a good week. It's good to be back, and I'll see you all in the room.